The perceived closing of the frontier and unprecedented conquest of the environment between 1877 and 1900 caused anxiety about the depletion of resources and destruction of natural wonders. As Americans saw their manifest destiny of a transcontinental empire achieved, frontier nostalgia shaped culture and policy. The need to protect what remained of the frontier gained national attention as early as the 1870s. Eastern and European travelers, lured to the exotic Wild West by writers such as Mark Twain and artist Thomas Moran, found natural wonders but also graphic evidence of human impact. Even from train windows, tourists viewed mountains of buffalo skeletons, denuded forests, toxic mining waste, and blasted landscapes, as well as trails of discarded possessions. In the mid-19th century, publicity about the so-called discovery of the Yosemite Valley and several nearby groves of giant sequoia trees prompted the first Western tourist rush. Recognizing the area's unique scenery and tourism potential, Congress reserved the land for public use. Yellowstone in the northwest corner of the Wyoming Territory became America's first official national park on March 1, 1872, when President U.S. Grant signed an act designating over 2.2 million acres of geological wonders as a so-called pleasuring ground for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. While the government worked out environmental policies in the parks and forests, a wave of grassroots environmental concern ignited a popular preservation movement. Naturalist John Muir formalized the movement with the founding of the Sierra Club in 1892. The Sierra Club was an example of growing national concern for the intrinsic value of nature. Inspired by transcendentalist authors like Walt Whitman and Henry David Thoreau, preservationists advocated the permanent protection of wilderness for its own sake. Their efforts bolstered the utilitarian arguments for conservation expressed by concerned observers such as Theodore Roosevelt and scientists like Gifford Pinchot. Roosevelt and other conservationists worried about the wanton waste of resources, and especially forests intentionally burned to destroy Indian refuges or to further the charcoal trade and construction of mines. Industrial timber harvesting, which was reducing American forests at unprecedented rates, created support for government regulation of this vital resource. Amendment 24 of the General Appropriations Act of 1891 gave the U.S. President authority to remove forested lands from the public domain and protect them from exploitation. This law brought millions of acres under federal protection during the 1890s and early 20th century. Pinchot traveled to France and Germany to learn the techniques of scientific forestry. He returned with a vision for the wise use of natural resources for the greatest good to the greatest number for the longest time. America's first professionally trained forester, Pinchot enforced the Appropriations Act first as a member of the National Forest Commission and then as head of the U.S. Division of Forestry. In the early 1900s, he worked with Theodore Roosevelt to dramatically expand the land management role of the federal government. In the space of only 3 decades, the West had developed to the extent that many believed government protection was the only way to avoid wholesale destruction of the region. The collective realization that the seemingly unlimited resources of the West were finite marked a critical juncture in American history.
I stood on the bridge at midnight